Good morning, everybody. I'm going to be starting today with Mouse. Remember, you have the PDF. You will need to follow along if you're listening to me read it, just because obviously this is a graphic novel, so you have to be able to see how things are drawn and who's talking. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The name of Mouse 2 is And Here My Troubles Began. This is by Art Spiegelman. We're going to start in present day with Art being an adult man that's married to Francois. Art is our artist and our author. And then it's going to go back in time to when his father was in Auschwitz. So remember, he is going to use animals to represent the different people within the story. So Nazis are cats, the mice are the Jews, Polish are the pigs, Americans are dogs. So we're going to go ahead and start on page 10. Art Spiegelman, a cartoonist born after World War II, is working on a book about what happened to his parents as Jews in wartime Poland. He has made a series of visits to his childhood home in Regu Park, New York, to record his father's memories. Art's mother, Anya, committed suicide in 1968. Art becomes furious when he learns that his father, Vladek, had burned Anya's wartime memoirs. Vladek is remarried to Mala, another survivor. She complains often about his stinginess and lack of concern for her. Vladek, a diabetic who's suffered 2 heart attacks, is in poor health. In Poland, Vladek had been a small-time textile salesman. In 1937, he married Anya Zulzenberg, the youngest daughter of a wealthy Sosonic hosiery family. They had a son, Richie, who died during the war. Forced first into ghettos, then into hiding, Vladek and Anya tried to escape to Hungary with their pre-war acquaintances, the Menenbaums, whose nephew, Abraham, had attested in a letter that the escape route was safe. They were caught, and in March of 1944, they were brought to the gates of Auschwitz. Summer vacation, Francois and I were staying with friends in Vermont. What are you doing? Trying to figure out how to draw you. Want me to pose? I mean, in my book, what kind of animal should I make you? A mouse, of course. But you're French. Well, how about a bunny rabbit? Nah, too sweet and gentle. I mean, the French in general. Let's not forget the centuries of anti-Semitism. I mean, how about the Dreyfus affair, the Nazi collaborators, Okay, but if you're a mouse, I ought to be a mouse too. I converted, didn't I? I've got it. Panel 1. My father is on his exercycle. I tell him I'm marrying a frog. Panel 2. He falls off his cycle in shock. So, you and I go to a mouse rabbi. He says a few magic words and zap. By the end of the page, the frog is turned into a beautiful mouse. I only converted to make Vladek happy. Yeah, but nothing can make him happy. All right, so let's stop there. We have Art and his wife talking. We're already starting to see that Art and his father, Vladek, don't have a good relationship. It seems like Vladek is very easy to make to please, or he's very difficult to please as a person. Now, Art has married a French woman, and you can see that Francois is always going to be drawn in a striped shirt. I mean, stereotypically, that's what we see French people wearing. And he's trying to figure out, how am I going to draw you? What animal should you be? And she's like, well, I should be a mouse. I'm a Jew just like you. And he's like, no, you converted for me. And she's like, yeah, but I converted. So they're kind of like struggling back and forth. And you can already see the relationship kind of coming out in terms of Art and Vladek's very contentious father-son relationship. And you see that a lot in Mouse 1 as well. You should have married what's her name, the girl you were seeing when we first met. Sandra? Yes. Then you could have just drawn mice, no problem. Come on. I just dated her to get over my prejudice against middle-class New York Jewish women. They remind me too much of my relatives to be erotic. Art, it's Francois, hurry, your father just phoned. He had a heart attack. What? Oh no. He left this number to call. We just saw him last week. On the way up here, we stopped at their bungalow in the Catskills. He looked fine. Hi, Pop? How are you? How come you're not in the hospital? Huh? But you didn't? You're not? But why did you? She did? But when? What? I can't hear you. Speak up. No, don't cry. Pop. Jeez. I guess so. Tonight? I don't know. Okay. We'll talk about it then. Just relax, okay? Will you be all right? Yes. I love you too. See you soon. Bye. What is it? What happened? Is your father okay? He didn't even have a heart attack. He just wanted to make sure I'd call him back. You are kidding. How could he do such a thing? Mala left him. She took the money out of their account and drove off. He wants us to stay with him at this bungalow for a while. I guess we have to go? I guess so. What a pity. We just got up here. We'll be back. We're not going to take much luggage, so we'll have an excuse not to stay long. Vladek sounded half hysterical on the phone. Poor guy. I feel so sorry for him. Yeah, me too. Till I have to spend any time with him. Then he drives me crazy. Depressed again? Just thinking about my book. It's so presumptuous of me. I mean, I can't even make sense out of my own relationship with my father. How am I supposed to make any sense out of Auschwitz, out of the Holocaust? When I was a kid, I used to think about which of my parents I'd let the Nazis take to the ovens if I only could save one of them. Usually I'd save my mother. Do you think that's normal? Nobody's normal. I wonder if Richie and I would have gotten along if he was still alive. Your brother? My ghost brother. Since he got killed before I was born, he was only 5 or 6. After the war, my parents traced down the vaguest of rumors and went to the orphanages all over Europe. They couldn't believe he was dead. I didn't think about him much when I was growing up. He was mainly this large, blurry photograph hanging in my parents' bedroom. I thought that was a picture of you, though it didn't look much like you. That's the point. They didn't need photos of me in their room. I was alive. The photo never threw tantrums or got in any kind of trouble. It was the ideal kid, and I was a complete pain in the ass. I couldn't compete. They didn't talk about Richie, but that photo was a kind of reproach. He had become a doctor or married a wealthy Jewish girl, the creep. But at least we could have made him deal with Vladek. It's spooky having a sibling rivalry with a snapshot. Oh, that's so powerful. I love this story. It's heartbreaking. Having a sibling rivalry with a snapshot picture. The picture was a perfect kid. It never did anything wrong. It would have become a doctor and married a beautiful Jewish woman and made the parents happy. While Art was the dysfunctional one that married a French woman and didn't do what was expected of him. I never felt guilty about Richie, but I did have nightmares about SS men coming into my class and dragging all us Jewish kids away. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't obsessed with this stuff. It's just that sometimes I'd fantasize Zyklon B was coming out of our shower instead of water. I know this is insane, But I somehow wish I'd been in Auschwitz with my parents so I could really know what they had lived through. I guess it's some kind of guilt about having had it easier in life than they did. I just feel so inadequate. Sorry, guys. I just feel so inadequate trying to reconstruct a reality that was worse than my darkest dreams, and trying to do it in a comic strip. I guess I bit off more than I can chew. Maybe I should just forget about the whole thing. There's so much I'll never be able to understand or visualize. I mean, reality is too complex for comics. So much has to be left out or distorted. Just keep it honest, honey. See what I mean? In real life, you'd never let me talk this long without interrupting. Light me a cigarette. Okay. He's really struggling with this idea that he wants to tell Vladek and Anya's story in a comic strip. And he's like, it's almost like a slap in the face. I feel guilty. I didn't go through it myself. And I'm putting it in a comic strip. It's so disrespectful. I wish I would have been there with them. And then I could have understood what they've been through. I'm like a fraud. And that's kind of an overwhelming motif throughout this story. This reoccurring theme that Art feels like a fraud in his life. Surrounded by people who went through something traumatic. It changed who they were, and he didn't go through it, so he was an outsider his whole life. And so, the Catskills. This is in upstate New York, where his father lives. He said he'd leave the key above the... there it is. Artie! What? So, my darlings, you come finally. I waited and I couldn't sleep. Emergency oxygen unit. You see how it is now, Artie. She took my money and she ran away. Oi, how could she do it to leave such a sick man like me alone? But now at least I'm happy I have here the kids to stay together with me. Look how nice I made you for a summer bed. For the whole summer you can be comfortable here. Hey, we're just staying for a few days, Pop. Well, in the morning we can speak more, but now you can make yourself at home, so as like it's your own. Good night, Pop. My God, does he expect us to stay here all summer? I guess so. If he had his way, we'd move to Queens with him, too. Please, I'm so tired from waiting till you came tomorrow. We can talk. Such a sunny day, and you're still both sleeping? What time is it? It's almost 8 o'clock, and already I've made half an hour on the porch my gymnastics. Since I was a boy, I've made every day my exercises. At first, the neighbors tried to make exercises with me, but they couldn't keep up, so now only they watch. Is there any coffee? Mala had some instant coffee. Tomorrow we'll exercise together. What? My only exercise is walking out for a cigarette. Instant coffee I'll have to do. You have to hurry now. We got to get ready today. I need your help for me to prepare my bank and my tax papers. Mala left them in a mess. You can't even imagine. Yeah, here I have it. It's the caffeine-free kind of coffee. Ugh. Have you seen my pants? All your things I put already in order in the bureau there. Well, thanks for not throwing them out. Wake up, honey. I've got some bad news. The only coffee here is Sanka. Huh? I brought our coffee and our pot. Look in my bag. Art! Now what? I'm making for you breakfast and I see here the salt. Just look what Mala did. The salt here, it was half full and she opened another new one. I can't eat on my diet any sodium. I don't need even one container of salt. And now we have 2 open salts. So what happened? Why did Mala leave? She wants that all of my money, what I worked so hard for my whole life, it will all go to her. I had a doctor's appointment in Regu Park and we went after to the bank to return some bonds. One I wanted in trust of Mala, one I wanted in my brother in Israel, and one I wanted for you. But she didn't like I'd put you and Pinnock anything. She screamed like a crazy person. She drove away and left me at the bank, and when I walked home, she was gone already. The lawyers say I must make drastic steps She stole away the jewelry, the car, and the cash out from our joint account. I can't make charges. Oh, come on. Where's Mala now? To Florida. She drove. We're buying there a condo she wants to sell and to grab out the deposit money. But this she can't do. She needs my What are you doing, Art? Huh? I was just lighting a cigarette. Better you shouldn't smoke. For you it's terrible, and for me with my shortness of breath it's also no good to be near. But anyway, you're smoking. Please don't use from me and my wooden matches. I don't have left so many, and already to make coffee you used one. Pop, only to light the oven I used it. These are wood matches. I can buy you the paper matches. I can have free from the lobby of the Pines Hotel. Geez, I'll buy you a whole box of matches. It isn't necessary. At home, our oven is automatic, and here I'm staying only 15 days. And I have still 50 matches left. How many matches can I use? What a miser. I can't take any more. I'm going out for some air. So you can already see that, we're introduced to Vladik. He's a very high tension person. He's very get up and go. If you've ever stayed with like your grandparents, you probably know like they get up at the crack of dawn and they're ready to do everything. And you're like, it's 10 in the morning. I'm going to die. Vladik is a very high functioning individual. He survived the Holocaust, and it kind of feels like he doesn't want to waste his life. He's been given a gift of life and he's going to live it. And he's also very aware of what he owns, what he has. He feels like, his wife was wasteful with things. She opened 2 salt containers. His son is using all his matches. And so we kind of see this a little bit in individuals who went through the Depression, the Great Depression. They're very, very miserly in the way that they hold on to things because they had done without for so long. A few tense hours later, Art, again you made the addition wrong. But look, we've checked it twice, Pop. It's correct. It doesn't come out so as the statement. We'll have now everything to do all over again. What? That would take 2 to 3 more hours. It's off by less than $1. Let's just forget it. Always, you're so lazy. Every job we should make so as to do in the right way. Lazy? Damn it, you're driving me nuts. Wait, why don't you take a break? I'll find the mistake. Yes, with Francois, I can do it. I can handle it alone. Why don't you both go out for a walk? Thanks a lot. Well, don't mix together for me any of my papers. I'll review with you when I come back. But for my legs, I could use now a little walk. Okay, I'll get my tape recorder so today isn't a total loss. What are your plans now, Pop? We'll walk over to the Pines Hotel and then back. No, I mean in general, now that Mala's gone. Well, maybe we'll stay together to the end of the summer here. It's so beautiful. Oh, sorry. To have you with me is always a pleasure. Remember, my house is also your house. I'm sorry, Pop. I don't think it would be working out. I mean, we've got our own place to live. And yes, you do not have to answer now, only to think about it. Can I ask you more about your past, about Auschwitz? Of course, darling, to ask me anything. Well, what happened when you and Mom arrived there and were separated? So we're going to go to the past now, okay? So they're talking about his story, and it's going to kind of flip back and forth. When we came, they pushed one in the one way with the men and somewhere else the women. Out! I waved very fast goodbye to Anya. But you understood, never. Anya and I were separated. No. The war put us apart, but always before and after we were together. Not so like Mala, what grabs out my money. Auschwitz, Pop. Tell me about Auschwitz. Auschwitz was a town called Osmak. Before the war, I came often here to sell my textiles. And now I came again. We came to a big hall, and they shouted at us. Get undressed. Leave your valuables. Line up, schnell. I was at that time still with my friend Menenbaum. They took from us our papers, our clothing, and our hair. Psst, what's going to happen to us? Don't worry. We were cold and we were afraid. If they brought you here, they'll put you to work. They're not ready to kill you yet. What about our wives and our... Shut up, Yids! To the bathhouse, quick! It's freezing. Everywhere we had to run, so like joggers, and they ran us to the sauna. It's freezing. Just thank God it's not gas. Here it was the live showers, not the dead gas showers, what we heard sometimes, rumors. In the snow, they'd throw to us prisoners' clothing. Schnell, schnell, schnell. They never even looked on what size they threw. One guy tried to exchange. Excuse me? These shoes are too small. Baby, now they'll fit. The shoes were wooden shoes. I was a lucky one. Everything fitted me a little. Only the shirt was torn and too big for me. They registered us in. They took from us our names, and here they put me my number. 175113. All around was a smell so terrible I can't explain it. It was Swedish, so like rubber burning and fat. Uncle! Uncle! When we came inside the gate, someone ran to us from far away. Here was Abraham, the Menenbaum's nephew. So, Uncle, you've ended up here too? You told us to come. You wrote us about how happy you were in Hungary, that we should join you right away. Well, here we are, Hungary. The Poles who arranged our escape understood Yiddish, so they knew you were waiting to hear if I was safe. In Bletsko, the Poles dictated the letter while the Gestapo held a pistol up to my head. What could I do? They'd have shot me then and there. So the Menenbaums had gotten a letter from their nephew saying, oh, I'm here in Hungary. I'm so safe. Come be with me. Well, he was writing that letter while the Polish people had a gun to his head. They wanted him to bring Vladek and his wife and the Menenbaums there so they could imprison them. And that just shows you, they had millions of Jewish people and they still wanted more and more and more. Even if it was 3 or 4 more, they wanted to gather them all up and kill them. Well, so here's our Hungary, and there's only one way out of here from all of us, through those chimneys. Abraham, I didn't see again. I think he came out of those chimneys. But I saw again once the Poles who'd betrayed us. The Germans didn't know them, so they finished also in the Auschwitz. We newcomers were put inside a room. Old-timers passed and said all the same. You see those chimneys? Okay, so I was more sad. I was worn and shivering and crying a little. Nobody even looked. But from another room, someone approached over. Why are you crying, my son? Should I be happy? Am I at a carnival? Let me see your arm. He was a priest. Your number starts with 17. In Hebrew, that is Kemedutov. 17 is a very good omen. He wasn't Jewish, but he was very intelligent. It ends with 13. The age of a Jewish boy becomes a man. And look, added together, it totals 18. That's Chai, the Hebrew number of life. I can't know if I'll survive this hell, but I'm certain that you will come through it all alive. I started to believe. I tell you, he put another life in me. And whenever it was very bad, I looked and said, yes, the priest was right. It totals 18. Whew, that guy was a saint. Yes, I never saw him again. For me, it was hard here, but for my friend Menenbaum, it was much harder. In Sosonic, everyone knew Menenbaum. He was older as me. He was nice, a very rich man. And now in Auschwitz, Menenbaum was a mess. His pants were big like for 2 people, and he had not even a piece of string to make a belt. He had all day to hold them up with one hand. One shoe his foot was too big to go in. This also he had to hold so he could find maybe with whom to exchange it. One shoe too big like a boat, but this at least he could wear. It was winter, and everywhere he had to go around with one foot into the snow. Can I use Your spoon, Vladik. Of course, but where's yours? I dropped it, and by the time I bent down, someone had stolen it. For a spoon, you could get a half-day's bread. I spilled most of my soup, too. When I asked for more, they beat me. I hold on to my bowl, and my shoe falls down. I pick up the shoe, and my pants fall down. But what am I to do? I only have 2 hands. My God, please, God, help me find a piece of string and a shoe that fits. But here God didn't come. We were all on our own. If we were in class, I'd cry the whole time. So that is chapter 1, and you can be filling out your questions. You will have a discussion board on Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing well. I miss you.